Welcome to our Senior Action Project presentation. We hope you enjoy it. Hi, my name is Paige Trutna and I am a senior at Lincoln Lutheran. I have been involved in many activities during my time here and I plan to go to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for advertising and public relations with a minor in art.
I'm James Admiral and I'm also a senior at Lincoln Lutheran. I play football and soccer and I'm a member of NHS and the Community Outreach Leadership Team. Next fall, I will be studying mechanical engineering at the University of Nebraska.
For as long as I can remember, I have loved to read. That love has continued throughout all my life and has spanned many years. I continue to read for fun and share my love of books with my friends and family. I believe this love of reading was instilled in me at a very young age as a result of my parents reading to me every night before I went to bed. I also have a passionate love for children and have worked at Trinity Lutheran School for 2 years. I love all the children there, so this project was a perfect opportunity for me to combine two of the things that I am most passionate about. I love seeing the kids' progress and watching them grow up before my eyes. When we were told to write a paper that had something to do with the topic of our senior action project, I knew this was the perfect opportunity to learn more about the benefits of reading at a young age. One thing that I came across multiple times was the fact that most cognitive development happens at an early age. So the things learned and picked up when reading to children will most likely last longer than you think. Another main point that I found was in an Ohio State study. It showed that the vocabulary of kids who had been read 5 books every day was significantly better than the vocabulary of kids who weren't read to. This word gap could reach almost 1.5 million words. Reading to children when they are young also formulates a trusting relationship between child and parent or authority figure. This relationship can last through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and even adulthood. Reading to children at a young age can also teach them basic skills and habits as well as increasing imagination and creativity. Based on these ideas, James and I decided to host a book club for the pre-K class at Trinity. We hosted this every Wednesday after school in the library in January and February. Each week had a theme, such as animals or farms, and we would let the children choose books to read based on this theme. We also had a snack for them every week which matched the theme whenever possible. We were lucky enough to have one of our good friends help us with this. The idea of this book club was to get the kids to enjoy reading and do it on their own in their own homes. We had many successes during this book club. Something that we found would happen very often was that the kids would make connections between the books and their own lives. They would tell us stories about themselves or something that had happened to them that related to what was happening in the book. They also interacted with the books shockingly well. For example, one week our theme was oceans, and my group was reading about dolphins, and one of the kids said they have echolocation. I was shocked to find out that a 5-year-old kid knew what echolocation was, let alone which animals used it. Their intelligence is surprising sometimes. However, the biggest success was that everyone involved in the book club created relationships with the kids. They would look forward to the book club almost every week, and I was asked every day that I work after school if it was Wednesday yet. I have gotten permission to include a quote from one of our parents. She said, and I quote, "Ryan loves book club and reminds us every Wednesday morning," end quote. Things like this were so encouraging to read during this process, and the excitement from the kids made every week fun.
As much as we hate to admit it, our senior action project wasn't always a smooth operation. There were obstacles that we faced every day that stood in the way of what we were trying to achieve with the project. A common obstacle was arguing over which book we would read next. This isn't a horrible thing, since it shows the kids' enthusiasm to read books that they were interested in. Nevertheless, sometimes they would tune out until we finally got to read their book that they chose. Or worse, maybe it would be time for snacks before we got to their book. Another common obstacle was when kids would get distracted. Crazy, right? Kids getting distracted? Sometimes it would be because there was a silly picture in one of the books, or a silly string of onomatopoeias, which almost all children's books have. And finally, our snack selection was usually pretty good, but crackers and cheese was not appreciated by the kids. They made that clear, so we stuck primarily to fruit snacks or cookies. There are a couple things we would change if we had a second try at the project. The first would be to have better class control. There were usually 3 to 4 kids per student helper, but not all of us had a ton of experience working with young kids. It was difficult to hold their attention for long periods of time, so it was helpful to have Miss Steph, a teacher at Trinity, there helping out when they got distracted. If we had come into the project with better class control abilities, that would have been beneficial to the success of the project. Additionally, there was one thing we would have liked to try, but we never had the opportunity to. This was to have whole group reading instead of dividing into small groups. There obviously would have been some downsides to the idea. Class control would have become much more challenging, and it would have been difficult for all the kids to see the pages. However, it would open up new possibilities, such as discussing each book as a large group, and for the kids to be able to experience all of the same books as their classmates did. We like to believe that our Senior Action Project had a positive, lasting impact on everyone involved. First off, helping the kids develop in their reading abilities was an impact that will last. They would catch on to small words, especially the noises that animals would make in the books. This was heartwarming to see, since this was proof of their personal progress in their reading skills. We also helped create interest in the books themselves. The kids were very outspoken about which books they wanted to read, and it became clear which kids had preferences toward different types of books. We're hoping that these preferences turn into passions about reading on certain topics. And of course, we created relationships with the kids we spent time with. It was difficult to remember all the kids' names the first time we held the book club, but this wasn't a problem for long. They got to know us, we got to know them, and I'm pretty sure we'll recognize each other if we meet in the future, at school or anywhere else. We have a connection with the kids that will be a lasting one because of the hours we spent reading books together. We hope anyone who listens to this presentation gets a sense of this, because it's more important than the reading or anything else. Lastly, we want to thank everyone who took the time to listen to our presentation. We learned so much from our time with these kids, and we're happy to share our observations with you all. Thank you again, and God bless.